What's going on, guys? So I'm gonna try to do something that I haven't fully done yet before, and that is I'm gonna try to bring you guys through a day in creating wands, or at least making the wands. Maybe I'll focus on just one of the wands though, and not like the whole batch. Or maybe I'll just focus. I haven't figured this out yet. I'm just kind of winging it. So as I as I decided to do this, I'm like, okay, let's just start recording, I guess, and kind of try to go over like the process. So I haven't started any of these wands yet. I have one that I'm looking at right now that I started a couple weeks ago, but we're gonna leave that one alone for now and try to focus on whatever new ones we choose today. And I'll try to record as much as I can to show you guys and maybe talk about it a little bit. It's gonna slow me down a lot because I haven't done this, and also whenever you have to record anything to show what you're doing, it always takes a while. You gotta set up cameras, do all that stuff. It's kind of cold in here right now, so I have the air on, so if you guys are hearing some extra humming and some extra background noise, sorry about that, but I don't wanna be miserable while doing this, so I'm gonna leave that on for now, and then maybe I'll do some voiceovers as I'm doing other things. Like I said, I haven't figured this out yet, so we're gonna just we're gonna wing it and hope that nothing breaks in the meantime. So these are the wand pictures. So we just did the live stream the other day, and these were the wands that you guys voted on, and you seem to really like this guy right here. So we can actually most likely make that one today. And I may start working on some of the other ones, but I'll try to grab the details for this one as I'm making it. And I haven't even decided on woods yet that I'm gonna use for that. I also printed out a couple of other drawings from other days. Some of these other ones are the ones that we used last time. Like I mentioned, usually what I'll do is I will start by printing out whatever I wanna make, and then I'll usually come down here. I'll look over at the pile of wood that I have and start picking out some pieces that may work well with the designs that I have. And if we're gonna do this one, I'm not sure yet what type of wood we're gonna use. So let's go over here and start looking. All right, so I mostly have this ruler here, or this level, but it has a ruler on one side. I mostly have that here so that I could check what size things are. So if I wanted, let's say if we were gonna use this one, which actually, this is made out of bloodwood, and it has a general shape that would probably work for this. It's a good size. Yeah, maybe we'll go with this. This is a cutoff from one of the other pieces that I used last week. So this is good. So we'll pick this one for that. Now let's see what else we can make. What I have been doing for these is I will circle it, and then I'll write in the type of wood that I'm using for it. And then I will also take a picture of it. So when I have to look back, I know that this one was connected to that one and it's bloodwood, and I don't have to like find this paper because I may lose this in the long run, and then that would be bad. This is made out of apple. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna just pick the rest of the woods because I actually like most of these. And maybe today we'll just try to make all of these wands. This one's probably gonna take the longest to make. This one's probably the hardest one out of all of them, to be honest. So we just gotta also figure out what kind of little nails we're gonna use for these pieces here. Also, if this is your guys' first time checking out one of my videos, again, this is a new format for me, so don't judge me as harshly as you want to. If you have already, thank you. But if you guys want to join us on the Friday live streams, this is when we draw up the wands, and then usually that'll be Friday, and then on the weekend I come out here and I start working, and that's usually what I go by. I go by what you guys liked and then what I drew up. We don't do it every week, but lately we've been doing it a lot more than we used to. we're kind of trying to get back into it. So let me pick out these woods for these other wands, and then we'll take it to the next step. All of these pieces of wood are different. So I didn't go with any, doubles, I guess. So we have some oak in the background here underneath. That's oak. We have some purple heart. We have some angelique. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it. We have some osage. Yep, osage, orange osage. And then we have some mimosa here and bloodwood. I haven't used any padauk in a while, and I really love it. It's my favorite type of wood. But yeah, I don't know why. I just haven't grabbed any pieces yet. But the bloodwood is what we're going to use for that guy. And then the other ones, I haven't thought about it yet. Haven't fully figured it out as I go. But we're going to be cutting out these pieces out of those pieces. The thing is with this is that it's pretty much already the general shape of the wand there. Now the other ones will be a little bit more complicated. So for example, if we end up doing, let's say this one here. So this top one is very square, and I planned on doing either like the profile, so the end of it is either going to be the end of it is either going to be a square or it's going to be a diamond. I'm not sure yet what we end up deciding on. Also, I just realized something. I said I was only going to go over like that guy there. So I'll show you guys some more of this stuff as I'm making it. But what we're going to do right now is bring it over to the bandsaw, which is conveniently right over there. So usually what I do is I'll take my drawing and I will try to draw that kind of roughly onto the surface of this as the profile, and then basically cut that out. Sometimes I'll actually go in and cut out some of the top as well to reduce more of my sanding that I'll have to do on the belt sander or on any other sander really. I know that looks like just a mess, but it should work. It should give us an idea of what I have to cut out, and then we could take it from there. I think this is as far as I'm gonna go. I think this is as far as I'm going to go here with this. I don't want to take too much more away, just because the angle that this works in, it's not a taper perfectly from the top like this. It's an angled taper. So yes, I could change the angle of the blade or the angle of the table here to make it cut a little bit better. That's too much work. It's easier to just do it on the sander and get those angles nice and done here. And you can see that this blade's pretty thick right now. You always want to leave extra material so you could take away more than you have to. All right. I'm gonna get back to cutting up all of these other pieces, and then we'll move over to the sander. That's gonna be where most of the grunt work, most of the actual like carving down is gonna be. Especially for this style, it doesn't need a lot of other things after this point. You'll see what I mean. So I got the general cutting down on the bandsaw, and now we are left with 5 roughed out pieces of wood. And I actually think I put them on here upside down. So let's flip them. Based on this layout here, these are the woods that we're going to use. So same as those, I just lined them up in the same direction, and this is how it's going to go. But this is the main one we're going to follow right now. So we'll start off with this one, sanding, and then we'll work our way through all of them. But yeah, it ended up being that I'm showing you guys all of them anyway. So, you know, who knows? Let me know if you guys like this format. Let me know if you want me to change anything as I go.
I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. Take my eyes open to force reality. Why can't you just let me eat my weight in glee? I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in their cradles, profanities. Some days I feel skinnier than all the other days. Sometimes I can't tell if my body belongs to me. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. And hold your breath and feel the tension. Devils hide behind redemption. Honesty is a one-way gate to hell. I want to taste consumption. Breathe faster to waste oxygen. Hear the children sing aloud.
Okay, so made a little bit more progress, and did most of it on the sander over there. And here's what we got so far. So this guy's been sanded down pretty much to the general shape of it. This one as well, this is the one that's going to have this whole section here cut off, and therefore like I'm gonna have to kind of hollow out this section. I tried to make it like pretty round. I didn't care so much about it being perfectly cylindrical. I just wanted a general thing because there's going to be so much organicness in this section that it doesn't matter to me so much that it's perfectly cylindrical. It won't take away from the effect. And then we have this one here, which is pretty much almost exactly how it is. I added a couple of little touches, like I wrapped this all the way around, and then there's a lot of fuzzies on there. As you can see, there's probably a decent amount of like these little guys here, which means that it needs a little bit more sanding. I'm going to most likely round this off because this edge is very, very sharp. Same thing for over here. I'm going to round this off a little bit more. I may add a little bit of burning. I may add a little bit more color in there, but we'll see. I don't know yet. We'll take it as we go. And this one here it looks very chunky, big and chunky. And I don't know yet if I'm gonna keep the exact design for it, but you can see I drew some lines on there. We're gonna go in with the Dremel and carve that out. We're gonna carve a groove all the way around that's gonna wrap all the way around and then come around the back and then over into the top here. And we're gonna cut out part of this section to give it that little hook pattern that we drew. And you can see here, I drew in, you can see this section here, I drew in kind of like this concave like lines. That's because it's gonna be concave. So there's gonna be a groove that wraps all the way around and it's gonna give it that, that rounded off edge. And then I don't know if I'm gonna keep this like straight like this or if I'm gonna kind of bubble it out a little bit to make it kind of like bubbly. And then, so basically convex, concave. So convex and then basically hit that edge and then make it nice and concave all the way around. And then this one is the one that we've been basically making this whole video. It's very delicate, I mean, it's not that thin. There really aren't any very, very thin sections except for this little tail section here, the pommel. It's basically flattened out. It's almost like a ribbon wand, but not so rounded off. It doesn't have that, but it is a rounded or like a very twisted ribbon with some body to it, I guess is the best way to put it. And also it does have a lot of fuzzies right now on it as well. But the next step is going to be probably carving out these a bit on the with the Dremel, with the rotary, and that's what we're going to do right now. I don't really have a really good way to record it, but I'll try. You'll see, I guess, how well I record this next section. All right, let's see.
Rage on that beat, going crazy.
Okay, so after like a ton of that, I got a little bit done. Okay, so after a bunch of what you just saw, a bunch of sanding down, I actually got this guy to look like this. It's coming out pretty good. This table is very unstable. I just grabbed this from upstairs. I haven't fully bolted it together yet. This was like an extra table we had over there, so I figured, let me grab that for the shop. It may be useful. I wish it was on wheels though. I may have to do that. But this is the one I was talking about that was going to be extremely difficult, and I think it's coming out pretty good. Hopefully you guys are seeing this after these wands have already come out. Geez, I'm gonna have a problem with this table until I bolt it in. But yeah, so I spent most of the day yesterday after what you guys saw, me starting to sand that down, working on this guy. This one's practically done. If you check it out, it's pretty similar to what we drew up. Was it this way? Yeah, it was this way. So this way for you guys. So this one came out pretty all right. It's not bad. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna actually move in a little bit closer. Like a glove, perfect. All right, so this one came out pretty good. It's still a little bit more to finish. I'm gonna add in, I sand it down. I sand it down a little bit just to get rid of some of these fuzzies over here, which I think I already may have shown you guys this yesterday. As you can tell, it's a different day here. But today I'm gonna be probably finishing up this guy because I still have a bunch of these little staples basically to put in all the way down here. And I think that took, like getting these wrapped all the way around took just as long as carving it out and getting it nice and smooth. I'm very happy with the finish on it, the smoothness of the entire thing. So very, very proud of that one. This one is obviously the one we saw before with the like bites taken out of it. That's what Meekachii was calling it. She was saying that it looked like it had bites taken out of it. So this one still has a little bit more work as well. It also has some little fuzzies on it and stuff as well. But I think once I sand that down a little bit, I may do a little bit of color. I don't know yet if I should just leave it natural, maybe a little bit of burning, don't know yet. Now this one is the one that has that big chunk broken off of it basically. I think it's coming out pretty good. A little bit more refining to do on it, and then it should be pretty much done as well. But obviously we're not gonna leave it just this plain Jane color here, because I believe this was the Mimosa. And it is a little bit on the plain color spectrum, I guess. This one's gonna be probably the one that we're gonna work on the most today. I have some little nails that I grabbed. I'm probably gonna do silver nails because I always think that silver and the Purple Heart look really good together. It's quite a simple design, so we really need to nail it, right? Because the simpler a design is, the less it has going on, the more you notice any little imperfections in it. So that's a tip, I guess, for you guys. If you ever have a nice, geez, this table's gonna be the death of me. If you guys ever have a very simple design, you do want to make sure you refine it as much as possible, because any little imperfections will stand out a lot more, as opposed to if you have a more, I guess this one's like the most complex design you have here, which obviously all of these little staples, they're not perfect. They're all a little bit crooked. One sticks out a little bit further than the other one. But granted, I could have worked really, really hard to try to just get it as like even as possible, every single little one, but I don't think that would look good. I don't think that would look better, at least. So I didn't do that. But it does still take forever to get these in. But yeah, that's what we're gonna do today. Hopefully I can get you some better angles. I think I'm gonna end up using this table for some of this, and hopefully these videos get better as I get used to doing them.
I started this one off with sanding it down a bit just to see how much I was going to have to sand, and I was just trying to figure out exactly at this point where I was going to start this that line that I had. But also, Wandering In, great book series. I've been listening to them for a while now. So good. So what I'm using right now is just a regular sanding drum basically on it, like a mini sanding drum. You can actually see my little DIY bit holder I made in the background over there. Also, I do have the ventilation on right now, or the dust extraction on that hose. So a lot of the dust is being pulled up, and you can see me just swiping it over. What's funny about this Purple Heart one is that I actually ended up doing what I'm about to do for like a while. And then I ended up changing completely what I decided to finally do at the end. And you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. But again, right now I'm just trying to smooth out those edges just to try to get it as kind of rounded off as possible. Feeling pretty good about it. Oh, what I do here is actually mark some of the high spots, because I'm going to take it over to the drum sander. So all I'm doing on the drum sander is taking down these high spots that I marked up on it, so that I know once I sand that away, I'll know that it's a lot closer to where I want it to be. Obviously, I'm constantly checking, kind of holding it up to my eye and putting it flat on the table there to see if it sits flat, if I have any spots that there's some light coming through, because I didn't need it to be perfect. I was just trying to get it as close as possible, because I know that this one's going to have a pretty simple blade on it. Again, just refining as much as possible, because this is one of those ones that has a very simple design to it. I brought this thing back to the sander so many times. I didn't record every single time I did it, but it was a back and forth, hand sanding and then going back. And then after I did the nails on it, that had a bunch more sanding that I ended up having to do. Now we can move on to a bunch of hand sanding that I had to do just to try to get the general scratch marks from the bigger sander. I think I'm using right now like a 380, 320 grit. And then I moved the camera back to its old spot pretty much and continue to hand sand a ton. Just going back and forth for quite a while. Once I'm pretty happy with this, I started planning out where I was going to draw those rings. As you remember from the image, there's supposed to be like 5 rings. I decide, you know what, I think 5 is too many, so I think I'm only going to do 3 rings. I like to do 3, 5, things like that look pretty good. There's certain numbers that just look good when you add a little bit of a flair, but I decided not to. Usually I go 1, 3, or 5. So what I started doing here is I grabbed a smaller bit, a very, not very small, but a pretty small ball end carbide bit, and started drawing out the lines. And this is not sped up at all. Obviously, this is actual speed. This is about how long it took. I was just kind of trying to draw a groove to go around. And then after this, I actually go back and redefine it a little bit more. And then eventually I scrapped this design almost completely. This whole guard design with the rings. I just felt like it didn't flow well enough with the plan that I had for the other thing. So, and it was a little bit boring. It was a little bit too simple. So I changed it. And then we can start speeding this up a bit. And you'll see me just legit go all the way around. I believe this is sped up to about 6 times speed. Eventually I switch over to a different bit to refine a little bit further. And that's basically the process for that. But then I fully dropped this design completely, and I just said, F it. We're gonna switch to another one. It looked pretty good, as you can see in that image there. But I was like, nope, let's just cut this up. Get rid of it. Just chop it up. Don't know if you could tell yet where I was going with this, but the plan was to make a kind of like a ball in the middle, but then add a bunch of those little spots and holes and divots to it. And it's just a lot of time. Right now we're looking at about 10 times speed, I believe. Yes, 10 times speed. I switch over to a slightly smaller ball end. And then eventually I switch to a even smaller one. Usually what I do is that I start with a bigger size and work my way to a smaller one, filling in all the little details. All right, so now at this point, I start planning out where the nails are gonna go. I don't have a lot of nails, so I kind of had to plan out where they were gonna go and how many I was gonna use so that I made sure I had enough. So right now I'm just trying to draw even lines across it because the original plan was I was gonna do 4 rows. At the end, I end up doing, how many did I do? 6 rows, I believe. Well, it's kind of complicated because some of the rows don't have the full set. It's less because it's kind of like an in-between row. you'll see in the final product. And right now I'm just, again, looking at it, just trying to decide if it's even enough. And then this was a test sample to see how it looked with the little nail on there. But for some reason, the camera didn't want to focus. So I had to zoom it out of there. There it is, bud. You got it. So that's with the nail in it. So I tested one right there. And at first I was going to leave it popping out a little bit, but then I realized that some of the nail heads weren't the same size anyway, but also some of them were kind of like sharp around the edges. So holding it in your hand wouldn't be the most comfortable. So then the tedious, painstaking process starts, where I had to drill tiny little baby holes where I wanted these nails to go. And then I had to cut the nails down smaller because they were too long, and they would either go in too far or pop and hit one of the other ones. So again, this was a lot of slow drilling. And I think I ended up drilling each hole at least twice, because once I drilled the hole and I put in the nails, I realized that some of the holes were too shallow. So I had to go back and do it again. And you can see here where I try to put some in, and then I have to go back, hit it again. And then even sometimes have to go back for a third time. But I think this wand ended up coming out pretty good. I think it's my favorite out of the batch, and you'll see it in the final process.
Okay, so I am finishing up the wands. I don't want to show you guys too much because I want them to still be a surprise when I show them off on the new WandsDay. So, and I'm not even actually sure if this is coming out before or after. But just to be safe, because I haven't decided it yet, we will stop the video here. And you guys can go check it out on the new WandsDay. If it's out already, I will link it up in the card, and you guys will be able to see it. Also, they may be up on the shop already as well. So that's enderswands.com. So if you want to go check that out, you know, feel free. Oh, my mom's calling me. Okay. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you liked it. If you have any suggestions for anything you want to see, any other things, she just keeps calling. Hold on, Mom. Hold on. I just got to finish this up. We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye-bye.